for the student athlete, how do you start the recruiting process? What's a good place to begin?
Yeah, so with all the things that, for student athletes, your decision isn't just about surrounded by athletics, academics, it's location, size, scholarship. There's so many there's so many factors that are going into your college decision. So biggest thing to start would just be research and start to put together a target list of schools. And I wouldn't have a list of about 10. Let's make it big enough so that way we can break it down as time goes along. All those factors that you're looking in a school, let's then break it down. So I would say, I know it seems large, but 60, 70. Give yourself the best shot. Again, making sure you're finding the best fit and what's important to you guys here then.
Absolutely. So I think the messaging there, again, that best fit schools, that is a tool that you guys have through NCSA, and it's probably one of our best tools.
Yeah.
The ability to set your parameters and say, hey, these are the things in which I'm interested, and then we're going to spit out a list of schools that's going to canvas pretty much everything. From there, you can go on and research those schools, reach out to coaches if you're interested in that program, which, being proactive is everything in this game, and I think it's going to help you stand out. Again, something that we talk about a lot. So, again, we're talking about what the student athlete and their family can do early on, well in advance of the contact period to familiarize themselves. So I think that's good. Target list is going to put you in control of this process. The other bit, just skills development, just getting better. Right?
Yeah, the progression of the student athlete and then what the coaches want to see. So again, like we sort of talked about here, coaches know you're not going to be maybe at your peak in the 8th and 9th grade. Maybe you have some time to grow. Coaches want to follow that progression, especially for swimming. I mean, it's great if your times are insanely good when you're a freshman year. But hey, you have time to progress here. For kids, track and field, some kids maybe don't get recruited until junior and senior when their times are that much faster. So coaches take that into consideration, and that's one thing that's maybe a misconception is I want to wait to, for my student athlete to get more experience or to get bigger, taller, faster. Coaches know, again, they've been doing this for a while now, you can give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, they're going to get bigger, stronger, faster. Let's see how they progress. And again, that ties into then, academically.
Yeah, absolutely. Academics is huge. It's going to leave all avenues open. Obviously, if you're an accelerated student in the classroom, it's going to be more opportunity, maybe for an Ivy League school, a higher academic Division III, right? You don't want that door to close, but that is something that college coaches look at. I think the number one thing for myself as a college coach is that I was setting my parameters that I didn't really want to fall below.
Yeah.
Right? 3.0 and above was kind of a target, and anything better than that, not only does that mean, number one, that student athlete is probably going to remain eligible for me and is pretty good at balancing academics and athletics. But the other bit of that is scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can earn academic scholarships, merit scholarships from the school just for having good grades and good test scores. You better believe as a coach that made it easier for me to offer that kid an athletic scholarship if they were already getting a substantial amount of money from the school.
Yeah. Right?
And that's the inside track that we had as college coaches. Again, all the more reasons to start engaging with these coaches early so they can work on your behalf. So academics are huge. The number one way that college coaches are going to evaluate a student athlete's ability, it's not through statistics.
Film.
Video. Gotta have video, right? And you can start taking that early on. I think it's probably most impactful sophomore year and beyond.
Once you guys get that varsity experience is probably what I would say is where the best you can have that video. Again, it can differ between sport, whether it's a skills video or highlight video, depending on what what the coach is looking for and position, I guess you could say. But absolutely, film is the most necessary thing. Again, like we talked about here, there's so many players out there, and again, coaches can't be anywhere at one time, same place twice, one time. Mm-hmm. So with that being said here, having that film is going to give you a leg up to get evaluated and assess your skills and ultimately have that coach follow your progression.
Yeah, and that's the real deal, right, is video. You can't lie on video. Statistics can't be made up. And with the way the recruiting is these days, the budgets they've been whittled down a little bit. So a lot of their coaches, they're doing their evaluations from their desk, and they need to do that through video.
Yeah.
Because you might have a tall kid who looks good on paper, and they get out there, and the skill set's not there. You've also seen kids that maybe just aren't on paper what a coach thinks, and they see the video, and they're blown away. So video is going to be the number one route to get a college coach on the hook.
And this is also for the parents and families as well here. I mean, you don't necessarily need to spend all that money on camps and ID camps and all this other stuff here if you really haven't been evaluated yet. Because again, those camps may be open to the public. You might be competing with kids, from all different levels.
All over.
So that's a really great way to get looked at and evaluated before you get out there. Because I don't want, again, talk about maybe spending from a money standpoint. they're not, cheap at the end of the day. So being able to make sure that it's worthwhile and getting evaluated before you get out there should be a good start.
And being proactive precludes all of this, right? Your best route to getting out there early, if you're in competition with kids not only across the country but across the world, you need to take those steps, those avenues to get in front of college coaches. You need to do that in the right way, because coaches are able to evaluate that many more kids.
Absolutely.
So being proactive really is going to stand out for a college coach. Start there. So again, the earlier you can start this, the better. You're really only hurting yourself by waiting on some of this stuff. So to summarize, get involved early. If you have a student athlete that's even thinking about this, it never hurts to ask a question, try and figure it out. That's what we do on a lot of our calls, is just educating families, especially when they're starting early. So again, put yourself out there, at least initially. If it ends up not working out, okay.
Yeah.
At least you've left that door open. Again, before you ever hear from a college coach, before they're ever able to reach out to you, there are things that you need to do to set yourself up for success. Because when that contact period opens up and that coach wants to reach out, they want to get you on the phone and let you know that you're one of their top prospects, right? And there is some legwork that needs to go in before then. Know the NCAA rules, know the calendar, know when that is for your sport. Go to ncsasports.org, find your sport, right? Circle back. There's a ton of good content there, a lot that you're going to need to know about. But again, your process needs to start with figuring out what's good for you, communicating that to college coaches, at least, initially. Don't burn any bridges.
Yep.
You'd said maybe start with 60 or 70 schools. That's great. Eventually, you're going to get down to 5 official visits, but there's a little bit of trial and error that goes into that. And then at the end of the day, just be proactive about it. Take those initial steps, push your information out. So a lot to consider with this, but don't sit back on it, I think, is the number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just be proactive, set yourself up to be able to make sure that you're in the best position when it comes time for that college contact.
NCSA's 20th anniversary. We are leaders in recruiting. This is something we talk about every day. Again, if you need some personalized attention, live at ncsasports.org is the email address. Reach out. We can talk about your student athlete.